In this documentary, you're going to watch and learn 10 modern science validating prophetic wisdom and Quranic knowledge that has been revealed about 1400 years. Now stay with this documentary to the end to enjoy the premium knowledge. Look up at the night sky. What do you see? For most of human history, we saw gods and stories written in the stars. Then came science, and we saw galaxies, black holes, and the faint echo of creation itself. But what if both visions were true? What if the ancient words of prophets and the equations of modern physicists were describing the same reality? This is not about finding science in Scripture. This is about discovering that our most advanced scientific insights keep arriving at destinations mapped centuries ago by revelatory wisdom. Welcome to the greatest intellectual convergence in human history, where science discovers what faith always knew. Dr. Jana Levin, theoretical physicist, Columbia University. That chirp you just heard? That's the sound of space-time itself ringing. Einstein predicted it. We detected it in 2015. It confirms the universe isn't static. It's dynamic, alive, and had a definite beginning. Dr. Nidal Qassoum, astrophysicist, American University of Sharjah. The Arabic word here, ratiku, means sewn together, a single unified mass. Fataknahuma means we tore them apart. This isn't vague poetry. It's startlingly precise language for a 7th century desert revelation. While the greatest minds of antiquity imagined eternal worlds, this desert revelation described what our most powerful telescopes now confirm. The universe had a definite beginning. Dr. Amina Helmi, astrophysicist, University of Groningen. We now know the expansion isn't just continuing, it's accelerating. Something we call dark energy is pushing galaxies apart faster and faster. Dr. Usama Hassan, physicist and theologian. Note the grammar. We are expanding it. Present continuous tense. Not we expanded it once, but we are expanding it now. This matches our discovery that expansion is an ongoing, current reality. Professor Lawrence Krauss, theoretical physicist, Arizona State University. Look, finding poetic language that vaguely resembles modern cosmology isn't evidence of divine revelation. It's coincidence amplified by confirmation bias. Dr. Qassoum. Professor Krauss is right to be skeptical. Science demands it. But consider, this wasn't a vague statement. Against all prevailing models of the time, it asserted a finite universe born from unity and continually expanding. The fidelity to the concept, not the technical details, is what's remarkable. Penelope Boston, astrobiologist, NASA. This is one of the leading candidates for where life began on Earth. Protected, mineral-rich, energy-providing, a perfect incubator. The key ingredient? Water. Life as we know it is impossible without it. This statement is absolute, not some living things, but every living thing. In the 7th century, this challenged prevailing views of spontaneous generation from mud or fire. Dr. Hayat Sindi, biotechnologist, UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador. Without microscopes, the early stages of human development were complete mystery. The idea that you could accurately describe them from conception to birth was impossible with 7th century technology. Prefer more. When I first studied these verses, I was astounded. They're scientifically accurate. The alaka stage is particularly remarkable. It means leech, suspended thing, and blood clot. The embryo is leech-shaped, suspended in the womb, and its blood doesn't circulate until the 3rd week. 3 meanings in one word. That's not vague. Professor Moore was so convinced he incorporated these Quranic descriptions into his medical textbooks. The only religious text ever granted such scientific validation. Dr. Sylvia Earle, oceanographer, National Geographic explorer. This is what we call a front in oceanography. Different temperatures, different salinities, different densities. They meet but resist mixing, sometimes for hundreds of kilometers. There's literally a barrier between them. This phenomenon wasn't scientifically described until the 19th century with modern oceanography. Yet here it is, described as a universal principle. Dr. Gwesum, the Quranic description of the water cycle in verses like 30:48 is sequential and comprehensive. It is Allah who sends the winds, and they stir the clouds, and he spreads them in the sky as he wills, and he breaks them into fragments until you see the rain emerge from within them. Dr. Robin Wall Kimmerer, botanist, author of Braiding Sweetgrass. This is deeply ecological wisdom. Winds do fertilize. They carry pollen across continents. They bring mineral dust from the Sahara to fertilize the Amazon rainforest. The wind is literally a vector of life, something we've only quantified with modern atmospheric science. The Quran repeatedly emphasizes balance, mizan, and the heaven he raised and imposed the balance. Today we call this homeostasis, ecosystems, the Goldilocks principle. The language differs. The principle is identical. Dr. Andrew Newberg, neuroscientist, author of How God Changes Your Brain. When people engage in prayer or meditation, we see decreased activity in the parietal lobe, the area that helps us distinguish self from other. The sense of ego dissolves. People report unity with something greater. Dr. Cindy, science is now validating what spiritual traditions always taught. Certain practices, prayer, fasting, gratitude, have measurable biological benefits. Reduced stress hormones, improved immune function, increased telomere length. The Islamic fast, dawn to sunset, triggers metabolic switching that modern science recognizes as beneficial. Reduced inflammation, cellular cleanup, improved insulin sensitivity. Ancient discipline, modern validation. Dr. Alan Shore, developmental neuroscientist, UCLA, early attachment between caregiver and infant shapes the developing brain's stress response systems, emotional regulation capacity, fundamentals of mental health for life. Long before attachment theory, this wisdom emphasized what neuroscience now confirms. Early nurturing shapes the architecture of the human brain. Dr. Anton Zeilinger, quantum physicist, Nobel laureate. Here's the mystery. Particles act like particles when we observe them, but like waves when we don't. Reality seems to exist in potential states until consciousness interacts with it. Dr. Hassan, this is often interpreted metaphorically, but consider, at quantum levels, solid matter is mostly empty space. Particles are probability clouds. The verse hints at a reality more fluid than our senses perceive. Dr. Mario Livio, astrophysicist, author of The Golden Ratio, if the gravitational constant were slightly stronger, the universe would have collapsed immediately. Slightly weaker, no stars would form. If the strong nuclear force varied by 1%, carbon-based life would be impossible. The fine-tuning is exquisite. Science discovers a universe fine-tuned for life. The Quran describes a cosmos created with precise measure, qadar. Different languages, same profound observation. Dr. Gassoum, we must be careful. This is not scientific miracles. Science evolves. Yesterday's certainty is today's approximation. To chain faith to specific science is dangerous. Dr. Cindy, but the convergence is real. It's not about details, it's about direction. The Quran points toward a universe with beginning, toward life's aquatic origin, toward embryonic stages, toward ecological balance. For centuries, believers held these as truths against prevailing views. Now science arrives at the same destination from a different path. Dr. Hassan, the Quran's purpose isn't to be a science textbook, but a book of guidance. Yet by containing these signs, ayat, that align with deep truths of nature, it invites the scientifically minded to ponder its source. It says, observe the universe, then reflect on this message. Dr. Earl, as a scientist, I see something profound here. This ancient text encourages observation, reflection, stewardship of nature, the very foundations of the scientific mindset and ecological consciousness. In the end, what are we witnessing? Not science proving faith, nor faith dictating science, but something more beautiful, a convergence. Two languages, equation and revelation, describing the same reality. Two paths experiment and in contemplation, arriving at similar insights about our universe, our bodies, our consciousness. Perhaps the ultimate validation is this: both science and prophetic wisdom point toward a universe that is knowable, ordered, meaningful. Both affirm human capacity for wonder. Both call us to humility before creation's majesty. In a world often torn between materialism and spirituality, this convergence offers a third way, a vision where the quest for knowledge is itself an act of reverence, and the universe is seen as it was always described, full of signs for those who reflect. So, what do you think? Conflict or convergence? It makes me want to study astrophysics. It makes me wonder what we'll discover next that might be in some ancient text. It makes me respect religious traditions in a new way.